if the North Sea does come back, us as the supply chain, we might have already pivoted away.
So Dan, you're 4 days in the job
Yep.
at Nexos. Feels like you're maybe being thrown under the bus, thrown into the fire straight away. Interview with Energy Voice. What's the direction? What's the tone?
So the tone for us is all about, it's Nexus Group. So it's not just Nexus Solutions. We've got, as part of Nexus Group, we've got Nexus Solutions, we've got OSL Consulting, we've got PowerStar, and we've got Kilton Engineering from a gas metering point of view. So it's about how we pull that collective group together and really look at what our integrated delivery model is. PowerStar, I would say, is it's the jewel in the crown in terms of its power. It's voltage optimization, it's battery equipment storage, it's off-grid solutions. So that's kind of the future of where we're going to. Oil and gas is still the kind of backbone of what we do from an overall business. So it's how we look to work with an oil and gas business within the UK. Look at the more kind of value adds type offerings from an oil and gas point that plays to our strengths in consulting, fabrication, modular fabrication, design, right to left thinking, all those sort of things. But really the direction is how we pull that group together and get the power of the group working.
And so what's the target area? You've obviously got the sort of breadth of the company there. When you were brought in, the direction was the industrial sectors, energy and power. That was the three.
Yeah.
What are you targeting specifically? Where do you see growth opportunities within the market?
So, given my background, a year at National Gas, to me, one of the target sectors is infrastructure. So I look at where the spend is coming from within the UK right now. It's gas network, it's electricity network, it's the GDNs around about that as the main distribution companies as well too. That to me is a key target area. You then got your kind of industrial clusters as well too, industrial commercial. So you take likes of HVAC. We've got a fairly sizable HVAC offering and do with traditional heating, ventilation, but also into cooling systems, all these sort of things. And then oil and gas as well. We're headquartered Aberdeen. Oil and gas will always be a heritage of what we actually do, but picking up that the more value add oil and gas work. But really for me it's the infrastructure energy part of it is where we want to focus.
We are seeing a lot of spend and a lot of focus on the industrial areas of the UK, Humberside, Teesside, whether that's through the CCS clusters and so on and so forth. But when it comes to oil and gas, we're hearing a different story. We're hearing companies delay spending, we're hearing projects pushed back, there's delays. Is there still growth opportunities in the oil and gas space in Aberdeen?
I think there's opportunities in the right areas. So you've got decommissioning, late life asset management. We've got the Taurus JV with Bilfinger. So we've been on the CNR contract for 4 years now, going really well. That's taken what would have been 5 contract interfaces down to 1. That's late life asset management all the way through to COP. So we're looking at that for other operators within the North Sea. We're all waiting for bated breath what these subsea tiebacks means for that government are now actually backing. So we're keeping a close eye on that, not hanging our hat on it though. We can't wait for oil and gas to start up again if it actually does. But it's more in that late life asset management is where our offering is.
So is that maybe a little bit of a warning from the supply chain up in Aberdeen that if oil and gas isn't delivering, you're going to have to diversify and get into new areas?
100%, and you can already see that. I was at Worley for a number of years as well too. Worley pivoted into the new energy market. Wood's done the same thing. You can see the other service companies are sort of subsea. They're doing a lot of work from Aberdeen out with the North Sea, and I think that is it is a concern. Because if the North Sea does come back, us as the supply chain, we might have already pivoted away, and I think that is the one. We try and message that to government through the right government bodies, OE UK and so forth. It's just kind of falling on deaf ears.
And this might be a little bit of a punchy question, so I'm not trying to start.
I don't mind.
But Dan, looking at Nexos over the past couple of years, it rebranded from the global branding that it had when it left Global Energy.
Yeah.
It has had. You're now the 3rd CEO in post since last year. May 25 was when Terry Allen left.
Yeah.
Is this a company that's in flux? Is it a company that needs the ship steadying a little bit?
I don't think it's in flux. I think with Scott McGinnigal going over to Seric Energy, I think that's a great role for Scott. As being the COO, starts there at the end of June. My heritage being service sector, a year at National Gas, it made a good. I was global many years ago as well, so I know the business. It's why I went into the business for a period of time as a bit of a consultant as well, to get to know the business, to make sure that the business was right for me and I'm right for the business. So this is a journey that myself and the investors talked kind of long and hard about, that they wanted to make sure that it was the right fit for both. So I'm in this for the long term. I see longevity within Nexus Group, and I keep saying the group part. It's not just Nexus Solutions, not what was just Global E&C. It's adding the other 3 businesses to it, and I think we've got the right tools within the toolkit there to really do something a bit different. And I say it's the late life in oil and gas, it's the infrastructure, it's the power play as well. When we get off-grid solutions for power up and running through our PowerStar business, that's a differentiator for us, and we can manufacture and fabricate that in Aberdeen from a modular point of view, with the smarts coming out of our Sheffield and Bromsgrove facilities from a PowerStar point of view.
Because you could understand why someone from the outside looking in, as I say, multiple CEOs in just a year. You've also had job cuts announcements.
Yeah.
Is the job now to sort of continue sort of trimming and sort of look to right-size the business, or is there growth opportunities?
There's definitely growth opportunities, and the first job is to take the strategy that Scott and the leadership team developed and had signed off by the board, operationalise that strategy, which is very much it's oil and gas, industrial, commercial, power solutions across the four different businesses. Look at where we can actually get some growth initially. Yes, there's been some job cuts, like other companies have had to do as well. We've had some contracts that we didn't retain, has gone to competition. To me, that's an opportunity to then look at our capacity within the business, as how we then take that parts of the business and focus it into other areas where we can do a lot more value add.
So is this about focusing on what Nexos already does well, rather than trying to broaden the scope?
It's doing what we're known for well, and then build out, as I say, within the infrastructure and power side of things. Your PowerStar is a business that's not really well known, though they've been selling. They've got quite a good client base, with the Marks and Spencers, Asda's, Tesco's, that sort of stuff. And the voltage optimization side of things, with the cost of power within the UK being so high compared to the rest of Europe, an offering where we can look at an offering where you're looking to reduce your power costs is something that we're getting a lot of interest in.
You know what? If energy bills keep climbing, I might need you to look at my house.
No problem.
But when it comes to the oil and gas side of things, obviously that's where a lot of Energy Voice readership is interested in.
Yeah.
You mentioned your predecessors went off to Serica Energy. They're one of the few operators in the North Sea that are actively being seen as investing and continuing. Is that a relationship you're hoping to maintain, and maybe?
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely, and I would say we've got similar relationships, the likes of the Ithacas, that sort of stuff. C&R are not investing, but we've got a great relationship there from a Taurus model point of view. But definitely, and we want to be seen as a service offering for those that want to invest within the North Sea. We have that capability and credibility to help them with their investments as well. We just need to see the government getting behind the investments.
And so, as the incumbent CEO, or not even incumbent anymore, that's
nope.
maybe downplaying it, 4 days in,
yep.
I said it at the start. What is the message to government? We just had that new energy bill mentioned in the King's speech this week. We've had a bit of turmoil in number 10, to be polite about it. At a time where the government is looking at energy, what is Nexos's stance? What are you looking to see happen?
It's about energy security, and I think we've got to look about how we get energy security within the UK, coming from the UK, and then how you back and build the UK supply chain from that. So not to use a cliched phrase, but it's UK PLC. If we're going to go in, we need to get the UK back to building stuff ourselves, maintaining stuff ourselves, designing stuff ourselves. We import so much. It's really how we utilise the capability. Again, you take Aberdeen. There's so much capability and smart people within Aberdeen that we can tap into from an oil and gas point of view, but also get energy transition. And energy transition is something that's been an overused phrase for so long. It's get behind it and start bloody doing it.
So, in terms of energy transition, we're here at All Energy. That's obviously a sort of renewables focused conference. In terms of, we spoke about power, we spoke about your interaction with the energy market. Is there a scope for you to utilize that not just with end use customers, the downstream stuff? Are you looking to upstream production as well?
Yeah, where you mean from oil and gas point of view?
From renewables.
Renewables point of view. Yeah, so we do. Our modular capability plays itself to that more on the kind of the onshore substation side of things. So we're looking at modular construction. We've got our facility down at Nord. Again, when you bring in the likes of the Power Star, the OSLs, the front end consulting side of things, we can definitely look at the sort of substation manufacturing. It's also then keeping work off site, doing it within the actual modular shops, and then taking it to site. So that's definitely a market for us as well too. It's anything that's modular that we can that is required. We can actually do that. So
perfect. One last question. What's been your key takeaway from All Energy this year?
It's my first time here.
Oh, really?
To be honest, because I've always been rolled out to hydrogen conferences and oil and gas conferences and whatnot. It's a little Aberdeen. It's probably just walking in this morning. I probably bumped into about 5 people I know from Aberdeen. So it's good to see the Aberdeen market coming down to Glasgow. It's bringing in the rest of Scotland, UK as well too. So it's good to start to see the energy market coming together.